YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back on NFL trade deadline day. We're breaking everything down on our Twitter for the interesting trades that have already gone down. We graded the Von Miller trade here on the channel. We'll break everything down that happens today. We'll grade some things. Make sure you follow our Twitter for that instant reactions, thoughts, predictions, anything like that. Power rankings, though. Here we are heading into week 9. We're going from 32 to 1, ranking every team like we do every week. Weekly power rankings, not end of the year predictions. We're not assuming anything here. If teams win, they go up. They lose, they go down. If they get hot, they go up. If you're looking damn good on the field, you're going to go up. If you're looking poor on the field, you're going to go down. Head-to-head isn't everything. Got a lot of complainers about head-to-head out there. There's been 8 weeks full of games, not just one game. There's more than 2 teams. There's 32 teams. So head-to-head isn't everything here. Please like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Full NFL coverage, picks, and a lot more. Covering the trade deadline, covering the NFL draft. We got you. Any link you're looking for, description and comment section as always. Lines. Here's our Twitter. Again, a lot of updates, a lot going on, a lot of rumors. We're breaking the rumors for the trade deadline, so check it out. Link down below. Lions remain at 32. For some reason, we had a lot of complainers in the comments last week that the Lions were 32. That's just mind-blowing to me. The only team without a win. And then this week they got absolutely dominated by the Eagles. So I don't think we'll have any complainers this week. So the Lions are at 32, rightfully so. 31, the Texans. If Tyrod would have played, maybe they would have put up a little more of a fight, but the Rams has absolutely dominated them, so the Texans remain at 31. But if Tyrod Taylor comes back in, which I think he's ready to go, they can possibly win some games, and they can move up if they want. If they're fighting for the top pick of the draft, they probably shouldn't put him in. They already moved Charles Omenihu. They are a team to watch for as trade deadline's getting close. So they may trade some more players. Maybe they already have by the time you listen to this. Dolphins continue to lose. They put up a fight with the Bills. They definitely had a shot in this game despite the score, but just on a major losing streak. Only win was in week 1, and they still look very sloppy. That end-around play snapped too early. I'm not really sure what exactly the problem was. Sloppy, and that goes to the coaching staff mainly, I think. Bad offensive line play. So, again, just going back to looking sloppy as we approach week 9. Shouldn't really happen. They're at 30. Jaguars, they looked very bad. Looked like they took a step down since the bye week as they beat the Dolphins. I guess not saying much, a couple weeks ago. But they were very bad. They played Geno Smith, and Geno Smith was better, but he really was taking the sack still. It's really no reason the Jags offense shouldn't get going. Not a good game from Trevor Lawrence, definitely a bad game for the coaching staff. So they moved down. Washington, very disappointing, a very winnable game against the Broncos, a struggling Broncos team with injuries, holding Von Miller out because he was going to be traded, obviously. They did such a poor job against backups on the Browns. And Washington only got 10 points. They just continue. They can move the ball. Not a lot, obviously, but as soon as they get down there, they struggle. 2 blocked field goals. Heineke holding the ball too long. I guess nobody to take over, which even though I think McLaurin, Gibson, McKissick look good, I think they got some guys that are very capable of doing so. And they had chances. They kept getting extra chances there at the end. So it's a bad loss. Only 10 points there. Down 2 spots. Very disappointing season from Washington. A lot of us thought they could definitely contend in the NFC East, maybe win the NFC East. So it's just extremely disappointing. Maybe one of the biggest disappointments on the year. Giants moved on 6 spots. They almost beat the Chiefs. They could have beat the Chiefs. I like where the Giants defense is heading. I think they're actually getting better as the year goes on, kind of looking like how they finished last year as one of the best defenses in football. So it's hard to move them down a lot because I do like their defense and they're kind of putting up fights and staying in games, but just sloppy again. The offense let them down. Mahomes didn't play a good game. Credit the Giants defense. They put themselves in the position to win because sloppy play from the offense and sloppy decisions from the coaching staff. I guess they're going to blame headset problems, and I believe them. I guess there's been some problems with the headsets, but it really can't be this many excuses. I know other teams have problems as well. So just overall not being able to consistently not being able to find ways, sloppy play from Daniel Jones and company, coaching staff not good. It's a winnable game. I like the Giants defense. And they got playmakers, I guess, but we got to see more of it. So the Giants are down after that winnable game on Monday Night Football. Jets will go up 4 spots. They have 2 wins on the year. Those 2 wins are statement wins. They beat the Titans, and then the other day they beat the Cincinnati Bengals and put up 34 points. Mike White's first start for the Jets this year, and they're missing Corey Davis, and they looked pretty good. The Bengals were red hot. And the Jets gave it to them. So coming off a win and a pretty big one there. They're going to go up 4 spots to 26. Obviously we're not going to go all in on the Jets because of that, but it's a good win. Bears continue a losing streak, down 5 spots. They were winning a chunk of this 49ers game. The defense was kind of holding them to 3 points, and the offense was moving the ball a little bit. And then it kind of just shut down. They needed touchdowns instead of field goals, but they weren't too consistent on offense anymore like they were earlier in the game. The defense kind of just shut down, allowing the 49ers to magically have success on offense, which they've been struggling with. So and the 49ers were really struggling heading in this game too. So that's not a good loss here at home for Chicago. They're down 5 spots to 25. They played Monday night against the Steelers, so I suppose a winnable game there. Falcons down 5 spots. They lost to the Panthers. Disappointing game. Not much offense going. I do think it wasn't a favorable matchup. They're not. The Falcons don't match up well with those types of defenses, with good defenses, I guess, because you can score on the Falcons. Sure, their defense is getting better. You can score. It's really on their offense to kind of keep up or outscore their opponent. They can't do it against a good Panthers defense. Just a disappointing outing there. I'll say red zone defense looked pretty solid. That's really the only thing there. Unfortunate with the Ridley situation there, but they're down 5 spots after. To me, it's a must-win because you are getting going, and you play the Panthers twice a year. You'd like to think you got to execute the home games against a struggling Carolina Panthers team, and they can't do it. So that's really a bad loss there. 23, the Broncos go up 4 spots. It's good to get a win, good to get out of that funk. Still looked a little sloppy. Defensively, they picked it up. Night and day difference from the Browns game. Really, night and day. So that's a good sign. Still based off their recent resume, you not the best still, but they are coming off a win, so that'll assist in them going up 4 spots here. Again, I love the way the defense played. The offense tried to blow it there. They had made some throws downfield to the sideline in crucial situations, I thought. So if you want to give them credit, find somewhere to give them credit, there you go. Panthers, good win against the Falcons. It's a much-needed win. And, defensive performance was great. I picked the Panthers because I liked the way they match up against the Falcons, mainly with their defense, and you saw Shaq Thompson come back, and that was big. Stephon Gilmore didn't play a whole lot of snaps, but he looked good. He ended the game with an interception. Darnold was tough running the ball. Hopefully he's okay. I know he's in concussion protocol right now. Hubbard picked it up at the end there, so it was a good win, but good to get back on track. Still coming off that, a bad stretch there, but let's see if they can continue this after the win. The Broncos kind of been – the Panthers and the Broncos have been the same team all year. I've been a little more impressed with the Panthers mainly because, again, the Broncos defense stepped up last week, but I love the Panthers defense. They've had some moments where they kind of took a step down. I think Shaq Thompson being out probably played a part, but I've been impressed with Panthers defense. That could be the slight difference there. Eagles up 3 spots. I know they beat the last place Lions, but it was a dominating win. They look like they look dominant. They were dominant on terms of the run. Jalen Hurts, Jordan Howard, Boston Scott, etc. It looked pretty good. It was like they didn't need to pass to dominate, which is kind of rare, and it's impressive no matter who you play. Like you just ran the ball. The team knew you were running the ball, and then it's just that dominant. So that's actually impressive to me. So they're going to go up 3 spots. Let's see if they can get a little bit of a streak going. They're 21. Seahawks up 2 spots. Beat the Jaguars. Can't get super hyped on that, but it was a dominant win. Defense coming alive a little bit. It is tough to judge because you play. Their performance against the Saints last week was pretty good. Steelers offense and the Jaguars offense. But I'm still impressed. Kind of gives you vibes from the end of last year where all of a sudden their defense looked good. It's tough to say for sure because they're not playing the best offenses, but. You can't take away from the fact they're playing very well right now. So, that's pretty impressive. They put up 31 points as well. So, heading into the bye week, that's a perfect win. Heading into the bye week is Russell Wilson's probably going to come back for the Packers game in a couple weeks. So, that's a good sign for the Seahawks there. Vikings disappointing. I know the Cowboys are a good team, but Dak Prescott out. Vikings home, prime time. You had a lot of opportunities to win this game. You were winning the game the whole time pretty much. It's just extremely disappointing. So they're down 5 spots, obviously, for that one. Just inconsistent. Can't put games away. Can't put teams away. Very disappointing. It's just very disappointing there. 49ers, overall, the resume still doesn't look great, but they're off a win. I love the second half of this game. Defense was tightening up, but mainly the offense was getting going, getting more explosive, making correct plays. Jimmy Garoppolo running well, Deebo Samuel taking off. But then Shanahan calling plays correctly. Calling good plays, kind of going back to the basics, what was working, which he has not been doing earlier this year, and kind of outsmarting himself is what he was doing. So there's a lot of signs point towards that the 49ers could maybe, they're playing well all of a sudden. It's only been a half of football, it feels like, but it's heading in the right direction maybe. It's a must-win. They got the win. They scored 33, which is pretty impressive, made some big plays. So they'll go up 5 spots there to 18. Disappointing loss from the Colts. They were outplaying the Titans early. They kind of blew it, let them back in the game. Actually had an opportunity to win in overtime as well. Carson Wentz got to play better. He's got to take care of the ball a little better there. Obviously, that's kind of what cost him a little bit. I know fans are a little upset with Reich, not giving Taylor the ball enough more. Yeah, I could give the ball to him a little bit more, but, there's got to be a point where, because there's so many drives where you're just kind of just making these safe plays in terms of the passing game because you have to pass the ball, but there's got to be a point where you just got to let Wentz, he's got to do something, downfield besides pass interference, and he's kind of, maybe he shouldn't trust Wentz as much, and he has to go to Taylor. He should go to Taylor more, but I don't know. Wentz got to play better. They're down 2 spots there. It was kind of a must-win game to stay in the fight with Tennessee there. Didn't move down too much, though. More disappointing in a team like the Minnesota Vikings for sure. So they moved down as well, but underneath them, when they were ahead of them. Browns down 3 spots, been disappointing. My phone's going off like crazy. Let's see if there's just stuff on Deshaun Watson. It doesn't sound like a deal's going to go down. So trying to keep an eye on the trade deadline news. It's been coming out pretty rapidly. Browns down 3 spots. Disappointing game. They start that game with a great drive. Would have been a great drive. They score a touchdown. It looked like a free 7. They didn't get it, but it's all right. Promising for the rest of the game. They completely shut down. Can't get much going. Conklin goes down. That affects the offensive line, I suppose. Baker can't get much going. Second half, Baker's starting to pick it up. Mainly the fourth quarter, Baker started to pick it up with the receivers. Mainly Jarvis Landry. Really letting them down. The Steelers just clutching up. And it's just another disappointing game from the Browns. It's just very inconsistent kind of back and forth right now. So they got injuries. A lot of teams have injuries, though. Chiefs up 1 spot. Defense stepped up against the Giants in that game. Offense, they moved the ball, but they got to stop with the turnovers. Mahomes a little sloppy still, but they get the job done. It's just back and forth every other for the Chiefs. So can they get consistent? They got a big game against the Packers. A win there would boost them more than just 1 spot, obviously. Chargers down 4 spots. Back-to-back losses with the bye week in between. Just a bad matchup, but they got to figure out how to way around these bad matchups. Teams that can run the ball very well and teams that are very good at game planning defensively with unique looks and man coverage. That is the weakness for them. But the score won't show it, but they got outplayed in that game, and not just because of the late touchdown. It's just, they were clutching up in the red zone a little bit, which forced this game to be closer than it looked, but the Patriots were just outplaying them on both sides of the ball by a wide margin. So that's not good. There's just some matchups that really just one of those teams. Like, it's a really good team, and there's matchups where they're going to dominate and look elite. And there's a lot of matchups like that. They just happen to get 2 in a row that aren't good matchups, but there are those bad matchups out there. So that could be what's holding them back to the promised land there, I suppose. Steelers up 5 spots. They're on a little bit of a streak. I think in the power rankings a few weeks back, I'm like, they're not playing good. I can see them kind of get a little spark going, get a little going. I think right after them, they started getting going. I think their schedule kind of helped them out a little bit, and it's still going to favor them these next couple weeks. They can continue the streak. They're clutching up in the end. Defense playing good. Offense, it's a little slow, but it's making plays in the right moments. Clutch plays. That Freiermuth touchdown was clutch. It was a good ball too, actually, from Big Ben. So Steelers on their way up. Number 13, up 5 spots. Loving the win streak right now. And I don't really care who they played either because, you see the Bengals fall to the Jets. The Titans lost to the Jets too. So just keep on winning. They play the Bears on Monday night. Very winnable game, obviously. Patriots. Love what I'm seeing for the Patriots. Another team that I'm like, I know they're going to get going at some point. And here they are. They put up 54 points last week. And then this week, they take it to the Chargers. I love the matchup for the Patriots. And they executed. They were a little sloppy in the red zone. I wish they executed more. But they dominated that game, I thought. They completely outplayed their opponent, which was a good team in the Chargers. They run the ball effectively. Mac Jones getting things going downfield. He looks good. The defense with their unique looks and their tight coverage. And Matthew Judon has been freaking huge for them. Barmore is getting going. I like what I see from the Patriots. Better coaching, better play, better pizza, Papa John's. So that's how it's going with the Patriots there. Could this be the streak they get going on? So I'm excited about that team. 11, the Raiders, they had a bye. They stay put. Can they stay consistent? Because we saw them. I mean, they're pretty consistent and then inconsistent. And then, it's weird. It's like they don't go every other, really. But can they, it's a win streak. They look great. Then it's a losing streak. They look terrible. And it's a win streak. They look great. Bye week, that slowed them down. So some questions there for the Raiders, but overall been a pretty good team this year, obviously, why they're at 11. Bengals down 2 spots, and you lose to the Jets. You go up 34 to Mike White and the Jets, only 2 spots down. It's just tough to move them down further than this. With the other teams below them, do those teams belong? What they've done with their field of play, their resumes, do they belong ahead of them? You got to remember what the Bengals have done before the Jets as well. They deserve to move down. It's not a, let's forget it. Well, if you're the Bengals, you forget about that one. You move on, most definitely. But it's not for us. Hey, forget about that one. It's just one of those games. It's a bad one. That can't happen. It sparks some questions for the future, some maybe a little bit of concerns. But overall, I really like what the Bengals have done. Let's see if they can get back on track. Huge game. Bengals-Browns, it's 10-16. That is I can't wait. That's a tough game to pick. It's a huge game there. I'm excited for that one. Ravens stay put at 9. They had a bye week. They're coming off a lot, and they'll probably have the people that complain about head-to-head. The Bengals beat the Ravens. I think it's mainly the Bengals losing to the Jets this week kind of really hurt them, and resulted them in going down. The Ravens are playing really good football overall this year. So they stayed put there. Just got to take care of business. You can't really complain, about that stuff. If you're complaining about the Bengals versus the Ravens, just go, worry about the Jets. If you take care of the Jets, then you don't have a problem, But the Bengals definitely can boost themselves with a big Browns win there. 8, the Saints are going to go up 4 spots. An impressive win against the Buccaneers. They just got the matchup keys for the Buccaneers. Defensively, great outing. Offense clutched up. They had a great game plan, and it didn't change no matter who the quarterback was, and Simeon clutched up, obviously. And then it felt like the Bucs were going to come back and win. The Saints, overcoming that. So it was very impressive, up 4 spots. And then the Buccaneers, I do still have ahead of them. They're down 5 spots, which is a lot for the Buccaneers here to 7. Head-to-head, it's proven that the Saints are better than the Bucs head-to-head right now, obviously. But I look at the resume here, what they've been doing. The Bucs have been pretty dominant over the course of the year, what they've shown on the field. The Saints are getting their identity, kind of getting in that groove. A few weeks ago, we weren't really sure about the Saints. Nobody was. So they're kind of getting going. I just like what the Bucs did against the NFL in general. There's 32 teams in the power rankings, obviously. But it's pretty close here. But the Saints having that head-to-head, it definitely helps a little bit. And just getting the win and getting in the top 8, which, again, that was a little back and forth, a little inconsistent. And no one can really figure out the Saints. We weren't really thinking they'd be in the top 8 by this point, and here they are, getting going. I'm really not surprised. I kind of was feeling them leading into the year, though, that they'll be a second half of the year team, and I was getting them in the playoffs, obviously. The Saints, that is. The Buccaneers, just got to figure out a matchup problem that exists with the Saints there. But overall, the play that they presented on the field this year has been pretty dominant. But they're going to be down 5 spots still because that's not a good loss there. The Bills up 1 spot, a little sloppy off the bye. They get the job done there. They clutch up when they need to. Play good defense. Josh Allen again clutches up. They'll be up 1 spot. Nothing major there for them. A little sloppy, though. Titans up 1 spot. It's a good comeback win against the Colts. The defense a little sloppy, but that's a good win. They're overcoming some things. Derrick Henry getting hurt. I know he came back in, but he really couldn't get anything going. So without Julio, Tannehill kind of had to take over a little bit, and they got things going. Defense, I did clutch up, I guess. They were a little sloppy, but they did clutch up, obviously picking off Carson Wentz twice, 1 for a touchdown. So Titans are continuing to roll here. It's just, looking like the top team in the AFC, clearly not talking about predictions. It's realistic to predict them to be the best team in the AFC when it's all said and done. It's realistic not to, if it's the Bills or if the Ravens, whatever. But I'm saying right now they're clear top team in the AFC, but Derrick Henry goes down, which is that hurts. If you're the Titans, if you're a Titans fan, that's got to hurt there. So that's unfortunate. We'll see if they can. It's still a good team. We'll see if they can continue to roll here, up 1 spot to 5. Rams at 4, another dominant win. It's tough with these top 4 teams, splitting them up. If the Rams had more of statement wins, like they're kind of holding on to that Bucs win. If they had, bigger wins on their resume right now, it'd be tough to we're splitting hairs here with the top 4, obviously, that are all in the same boat. I just wish to have them higher. They had that big win. They'll play the Titans this week, who are 5. I don't really care that Derrick Henry's out for the Rams being. It's still going to be a statement win if they win that. So that's that win they need to maybe boost them. If the other 3 teams win still, maybe that's enough. Finally, getting that big win on top of the Bucs win that can help them there. But kind of been playing. And they've been executing, so you got to give them credit there. When it's hard to win every week. You see the Jets upsetting some teams, but that's kind of what when we're talking about the elite top tier teams. That's kind of what's splitting them up. The Cardinals will be down 2 spots. They've been the best team in football for a majority of this year, for all up into this week. So it is tough to see them move down. Only 2 spots to number 3. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's really, I know they're missing some guys, and the Packers were missing a lot of guys. They were missing their top 3 receivers, actually, and then more than that as well. To me, the Cardinals at home, prime time, they should win that game, and they could have found a way to win that game. The Packers had a really good game plan. They figured out how to game plan for the Cardinals offense that's been working. Cardinals need to do it, and they did adjust in the second half, which got them back in the game. They needed to adjust a little earlier. So it's a game that I view that they should win. But at the same time, it's not a bad loss at the same time, because, it's the Packers. You're missing some guys. I know they were missing probably more guys, but you get my point there. They're down 2 spots to number 3. If they would have won, it would be no question. They would be put at 1 like they were for a long time. So you just got to go out there and win when we're talking about these top tier teams. Cowboys have moved up 3 spots to number 2. At the end of the day, they are on a winning streak. They haven't lost since week 1. They're fresh off this big winning streak. They go into Minnesota, who I actually think the Vikings have been overrated. People have been saying they're better in their record shows, so it's almost like they're overrated. But they're still not. They play everybody tight. They're still not a free win. They got talented players. So the Cowboys go into Minnesota primetime without their quarterback and win. And they win the game. Why? Because the coaching staff's been great. They're looking good. And the team is looking like a complete, really good team. Defensively, offensively, even without Dak Prescott clutching up. They can run the ball. Receivers can clutch up. I don't know they're number 2 to me right now. I know people will say the Cardinals probably should have stayed ahead, and the Cardinals have been great. They're fresh off a loss in a game I think they should win. The Cowboys are on a 6-game winning streak, and they're looking more and more like a team, a complete team, when you factor in the staff of what they just did and what they have been doing with statement wins as well. And there's another one. So I had to put the Cowboys at 2. Cowboys, Cardinals, Rams, they feel like number 1 teams to me. They feel like one deserves to be next to them, but somebody's got to have 1, somebody's got to have 2. And it felt like the Cowboys, like I just said, 6-game winning streak. They've got statement wins. They get they look like a complete team, what they present in the field, being able to beat the Vikings like that. That feels like they should be 1, but the Packers happen to be on that winning streak. They haven't lost since week 1, and they just beat number 1, the only undefeated team in football. So that's a resume win right there. That's a statement win there without your top 3 receivers, without Tunyon gets hurt, without Zadarius Smith, Jair Alexander. That is a big-time win against the number 1 team, and that matters in my weekly power rankings. That's the big thing right there. You're streaking, you're winning, and you take down number 1. The Packers are 1, no question here. Even though, again, the Packers, Cowboys, Cardinals, and Rams, based on what they've done the entire year, they feel like number 1s to me. They feel like number 1s. And the Titans, the way they've been playing recently in the streak they're on, the statement wins they have, you could say that. But I'm talking about the whole year with the Packers, Cowboys, Cardinals, Rams. Those teams feel like 1s right now. So those teams are tight, but I have my reasons, and that's just... And it's my system that I created for this power rankings when I started these a few years ago. So it's almost like the teams go out and decide where they're ranked. I don't really decide it, and that's really how I feel about it. So a lot of good teams here at the top. The Packers play the Chiefs this week. That's going to be interesting. Dak should be back for the Cowboys. So they play the Broncos. Cardinals, 49ers. They were kind of close last time here. So Cardinals, 49ers should be fun. Rams got the Titans. The Rams with that win alone could help them boost to the top, depending on how it goes and what other teams do, I suppose. But, I'm excited to do these every single week. So let me know your guys' thoughts. We're talking on Twitter constantly. Trade deadline going on. It sounds like Deshaun Watson will not be traded. So, a lot going on here. So I better get on Twitter right now. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on, follow our Twitter link down below. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.